Hey, what's up, Kings? I wanted to talk about one of these topics that's a bit depressing for the men that are listening here that are in their 40s or 50s. Yeah, I'm sorry to say, but you're kind of cooked at this age range. Not every man in their 40s or 50s, but I'd say a good proportion of them, especially the men who don't take care of themselves and they don't, they don't work on themselves in any respect. Those who don't go overseas and try to meet somebody domestically. The new phenomenon basically is cougaring, and it's not nothing new. Just like Passport Bros, it's been around for a while. It was in a different form before. There used to be mail order bride sites, and military people used to marry women overseas. So that's nothing new. It just grew in popularity due to cultural changes and due to other cultural changes. Women are cougaring more than they used to. That's pretty solid evidence to suggest that we don't have a formal study to say it, but we can kind of look around and see that older women are dating younger men a lot more. Or if they're not just dating them, they're screwing around with them. And you've seen in my other videos, I've advocated fully that men in their 20s should absolutely take advantage of this new crisis, if you will. Those men should be not dating women 15, 20 years older or old, maybe even older than that, than them, but they should be casually seeing them. Situationships, friends with benefits is ideal. I don't like the idea of one off hookups. I mean, it's just very risky to keep doing that. Women who are older, there's less pregnancy risk, which is a big advantage. You don't have to use condoms as much, but comes with the con of those women being more experienced and having more sexual partners, which means what? More chances for sexually transmitted diseases. So, ideally, you should be having more long-term friends with benefits. Ideally, you should both get tested. Let's just put honest face on this. You want to be careful about the cougars you select, but you want to have longer strings of casual benefits with them. And the primary reason, I won't get into all of the reasons, but the long and short of it is for financial reasons. You don't have to date them, you don't have to court them. Sometimes they even financially or time based benefit you. So it's much better than dating women of your own age. Yes, while they're not as attractive as women your own age, they're a lot less headache and a lot less hassle. They are more welcoming for a casual relationship with a young dude. So anyway, let's read this. Women in their 30s and 40s. Are cougars the new normal? Cougars the new normal. The majority of women in their late 30s to late 40s age group in my area have age ranges from 10 to 15 years younger to 2 to 3 years older. I get excited when I see a new WSM whatever profile from a woman that's 41, only to be let down when I see her desired age range is 25 to 43. Match.com, when I search for mutual matches, the median age of my matches is 48. That's far more in their 50s than in their 30s. I'm 45. Overall, there seems to be 50% cougars. Desired age range is more years younger than older, 25 balanced, 25 traditional. Young male Redditors, do you get lots of contacts from older women? All right, sounds pretty depressing to start, right? This man is not even 50. He's what is he right now? He's 45, right? So he's not even 50 yet, and he feels like he has to hang his hat up for like dating. And that's just like relationship context, right? So the first comment I think is very poignant here. I read some research in my social psych class that relates to this. We're used to seeing men going for younger women because in the past men have held the most social and financial power. Younger women would be attracted to them because they offer resources. Now, doesn't that sound familiar? When we go overseas, we tend to meet women who are more traditional, and by traditional, don't believe what American women say by traditional. You don't have to give them all of your money and then they sit on their ass uh, in their feminine energy. That's not feminine energy. Feminine energy is contributing to the household in other ways. Cooking, cleaning, taking care of the family. Feminine energy is not what Sprinkle Sprinkle Woman says, where you give her money and then she looks pretty for you and she's arm candy. That's not feminine energy. That's bullshit Western woman cope for feminine energy. Now that we have a lot of smart, powerful, and wealthy women, their priorities are more on finding a mate that is young and attractive than finding an older, smarter man. It's just some social balancing that's occurring because equality is becoming more the norm. Oh, it's just some social balancing. It's nothing big, right? Well, this just goes back to like anything, any new phase in life. Um, ChatGPT could be a perfect example of this. It's a perfect analogy. A disruptive phase where we have a norm, not using AI, and now we have AI, and this creates disruption in employment and productivity and a lot of other things. Some benefit, some detraction. So it's going to benefit some people, it's going to hurt other people. Right now, older men are cooked. There's going to be a disruption phase for older men, and they're going to be left out of dating. Not only that, but these cougars who are going for younger men, because a lot of them will have the younger man phase, and I've seen this anecdotally as well. That yeah, I dated this guy I had a fling with him, 15 years younger, 20 years younger, and then I met you, and I want a relationship with you. So these women are already damaged from like screwing around with much younger men. So the bar is now set for them. They couldn't get those younger guys to commit because most of them won't. And if the one that does commit, they're usually like not like that alpha type, the one that they actually want to commit, but they're okay with it because they're younger. Um, I'll mention another thing about the younger men, where this is also going to be a big problem going forward, is that if we look at this news article, some of you might have heard of this, that 63% of men under 30 in the United States are single, compared to 34% of women. There's a lot of theories as to why there's more men than women that are single. Forget about that for a second. What focused on is that is an abundance of men who are under 30 who are single, probably from economic reasons. Um, like they live in their mommy's basement, right? That's like the stereotype. But what can they do in mommy's basement? They can fire up their dating apps and they can go hunting for older women, and they can enter into those transactional relationships with a woman who's 20 years older, and the older woman might be out of a divorce, or is recently separated. She's not looking for anything serious. The young man certainly isn't looking for anything serious. So they enjoy a nice transactional relationship. Sometimes the older woman will fall in love with him, but a lot of times it'll just be kind of a casual fling. She'll get used to the dynamic of younger men and looking at younger men, looking at his abs and his stamina and his vitality. And the bar is now set for them. So the more they do this with the young men, the more damage there'll be for a man of your age, right? Because even if you're fit, you're physically fit, it's still going to be a little bit of a challenge to be as have as high a vitality as a man that is 20 years younger than you. Uh, they say that their testosterone is lower for men who are younger than when we were younger. So there is a little bit of offset there, and their ED is there's more early onset ED for men nowadays, like in their late 20s or early 30s. Some are taking Viagra because they're addicted to pornography and they're playing video games all the time. They have no drive in life, so they have low testosterone. Nevertheless, they still have the age. It's still there. They're going to be attractive for other reasons to these women, and their mind is going to be almost subconsciously centered on a man who looks very attractive, has all of his hair, is the six pack abs, et cetera, et cetera. Tight body, blah blah blah. So this is a problem for men, and this is why I have stressed time and time again that it it's a very bad idea if you, especially if you were divorced like me. Like I would never consider marrying an American woman again, unless perhaps she was an immigrant. Maybe I might consider that. But under most circumstances, if not all circumstances, I would never marry an American woman, and I had vowed to never do that. So I only I went overseas. I went overseas, and then I married a beautiful Peruvian woman who became a great wife, and still to this day. So where am I going with this? Basically, that's about. I mean, you know, there's no easy answer to this problem. I think it's beneficial to listen to women if you are going to date a woman domestically, and you're in your 40s and you want to date somebody in their 30s or 40s. Listen very carefully, and kind of drop in a little bit in your dates about like this whole dynamic, that you've seen this, kind of like from an outside. I've noticed this happens a lot. These young men, they reach out. I've done that before, and I would glean a lot of information. Usually women, especially after a drink or two, they'll feel very comfortable talking about their experience because you sound open-minded. You sound like, oh yeah, this happens a lot, and you accept it. So it's always good to uh, not tip your hat in terms of what you would consider okay or not. Like with the high body count, you don't ever ask what her body count is, or uh, say that it's disgusting to have a high body count. Just kind of always sound open-minded. Always, and you'll be surprised how much the woman will share with you. Anyway, that's about it. Take care, Kings.